Hello friends, this is Professor Mitkari. I welcome you all in my online class. Today in this session we are going to learn phrase analysis. The points that I am going to discuss in this session are identifying form of the phrase, giving form and function labels to the elements in a phrase. You must know such kind of questions are generally asked in BA English program, particularly in grammar paper. So, this video is going to be very useful for you all to know how to solve or how to write the answer of phrase analysis. So, let us start our session. Here on the screen you can see I have written 8 sentences and now we are going to solve these sentences. The question is written here. Generally such kind of question that you will find in grammar paper of university papers. Identify the form of the following phrases and give form and function labels to all the elements they contain. So, such will be the question, and the phrases that will be given will be the phrases which I have given here on the screen. So, such kind of phrases will be given there for you for analysis. First one, fierce competition for the vacant post. Second, Deepika, the heroine of the film. Third, very artistically indeed. Fourth, very large house. Fifth, far more accurate than last time. Next, at the doorstep of my house. Seventh phrase, the boy who decided the fate of the nation. And eighth phrase, sweeter than it should have been. So, let us start the analysis of the phrase. The first phrase is fierce competition for the vacant post. While analyzing this phrase, first of all, you will have to identify which is the head word of this phrase. Okay, head word. So, can you tell me which word is the important word in this phrase? What is this phrase talking about? The phrase is talking about competition. Okay, the phrase is talking about competition, fierce competition for the vacant post. Okay, now what you have to do is to put head as function label, because the phrase is talking about competition. So, competition is the head word here. Now, what is the form of the word competition? Yes, it is noun. So, you should write N at the bottom. Remember, form labels are given at the bottom and function labels are given on the head. Okay. So, competition is the head word for this phrase. So, we have written H at the top, and competition, the form of competition is noun. So, we have written here N. If the head word is noun, then we can say this is a noun phrase. Okay, this is a noun phrase. If the head word is noun, then this is a noun phrase. Okay. Now, we have to give the labels to the other words. Can you identify the form of the word fierce? fierce competition. See, fierce is giving more information about competition, and that is why it is adjective az. So, put az at the bottom, okay. Put az for fierce. Which function the word fierce is playing here? Yes, it is modifier, okay, modifier. Remember, the function, actually the structure of noun phrase is like this: modifier, modifier can be more than one, then head, and then modifier. So, there could be pre-modifiers and post modifiers after the head, and head word of noun phrase is noun, okay. So, head word of noun phrase is noun. So, this is the structure of noun phrase. So, here adjective is playing the function of modifier. Now, what about for the vacant post? You can see for the vacant post, here for starts a new phrase, okay. Here from for you will find a new phrase which is functioning as modifier to this head, modifier to this phrase. Which is this phrase? It starts with for, so it is a prepositional phrase, okay. It is a prepositional phrase. Now, for is preposition, for is preposition. What is the form of the is determiner, okay. What is the form of vacant? Vacant is adjective. What is the form of post? Post is noun, right. Post is noun. So, the head of this prepositional phrase is noun. Remember, the head of prepositional phrase is always noun or pronoun. So, head, and these are the modifiers, okay, modifiers. Now, this prepositional phrase ends here. You have to give the bracket to that also, okay. Prepositional phrase ends here and our noun phrase ends here. So, this is the closing bracket for noun phrase, okay, closing bracket for noun phrase. So, this is how we can analyze this phrase, fierce competition for the vacant post, okay. So, this is the phrase analysis for this phrase, fierce competition for the vacant post. This is how you will write your answer in examination, okay. So, this phrase can be asked for 2 marks. In exam, this phrase can be asked for 2 marks, okay. So, let us go to the next phrase. Now, let us understand the analysis of the second phrase, Deepika, the heroine of the film. So, let us start the analysis. Can you tell me which word is important in this phrase? Which word is important in this phrase? Yes, the phrase is talking about Deepika, right? The phrase is talking about Deepika. So, Deepika is the head word here, right? Deepika is the head word and Deepika is noun. So, the form label of the word Deepika is N, noun, and the function label of the word Deepika is head. Okay? Now, we can say that this phrase is a noun phrase, okay, because the head of this phrase is noun. So, therefore, we can say this phrase is noun phrase. Noun phrase, right. Now, we will give the form labels to other words. The is the determiner, heroine is noun, of is preposition, the is determiner, and film is noun. Okay. Now, we will give the form labels, but before giving the form labels, we will have to see if, because while giving the form labels we will have to give the while giving function labels we will have to see if there is modifier or any other phrase that functions as a modifier. So, yes, there is a phrase that functions as a modifier to Deepika, and the phrase is the heroine of the film. The heroine of the film. This is the phrase that functions as modifier here. Okay. Now, which is the head word in this phrase? Yes, it is heroine. Heroine is the head word. So, put head as a function to the word heroine. Now, this the functions as modifier, all the determiners function as modifier. What about of the film? Again there is a new phrase, of the film. Okay, of the film. So, the type of this phrase is, or the form of this phrase is prepositional phrase. Okay. In this prepositional phrase, the word film is a head word, the is modifier to the head, and of, the form of is preposition. Now, finally, what we have to do is, here this prepositional phrase functions as modifier to the head word heroine in this phrase, the heroine of the film. And now finally we will have to give one more bracket to this phrase. See, one bracket, second bracket, third bracket. Opening brackets are 3 in the phrase. So finally we should have 3 closing brackets, remember it. Okay. Finally we should have 3 closing brackets. So such a kind of a phrase will be given to you for 2 marks in examination. Okay. Now, let us understand the phrase analysis of the third phrase very artistically indeed. Now, in this phrase, can you tell me which is the head word? The head word. Yes, it is artistically. It is important word. So, artistically is the head word here. Okay, we are talking about artistically here. Okay, what is the form of artistically? It is adverb. The form of artistically is adverb. Very simple way to identify if it is article, if it is adverb, then you can see ly is added here. Okay, so it is adverb. So short form or the form label for adverb is capital A and small v, artistically. Okay, now identify the form labels to the rest of the words. Vary. Vary is again an adverb. So, put adverb here. Indeed, it is also adverb. Indeed is also adverb. So, vary functions as modifier and indeed also functions as modifier. And the head word of this phrase is adverb. So, the phrase is adverb phrase. The phrase is adverb phrase. How to write the title of adverb phrase? Capital A, small v, capital P, adverb phrase. Okay. Let's come to the next phrase, very large house. Which is the main word in this phrase? The head word? Yes, it is house. We are talking about house here. So, house is the head word. So, put H there. So, house, the word house functions as head. What is the form of house? Noun. Okay, noun. So, we can understand that this is a noun phrase because its head word is noun. So, write here noun phrase NP, N capital P capital. Okay. Now, we will give the form and function labels to the rest of the two words very and large. Very is adverb and large is adjective. Now, you can see very and large, these are the two words and that forms a separate phrase. And the phrase is adjective phrase because in very and large we are talking about large. So, this is a separate phrase that is the part of this noun phrase. Okay, very large. And what is the form of this phrase? Adjective phrase, AJP. Okay, AJP, capital AJP. So, we will write it like this. So, we will write it like this, AJP. AJP means adjective phrase. Okay, and on the top of adjective phrase we will have to write modifier because it is functioning as modifier to the word house, which is the head word of this noun phrase. Now, we will give the function labels to very and large. This is adjective phrase, so adjective is the head and very is modifier to this adjective large. Okay. Now, how many opening brackets are there? There are two opening brackets, one, this one, and this is one bracket, this is second bracket. Okay, these are the two opening brackets. So, you should have two closing brackets. So, one here and one here. Okay. So, two closing brackets are given there. So, this is the phrase analysis of the fourth phrase, very large house. Let us start the phrase analysis of far more accurate than last time. Okay. Now, let us start. What are we talking about in this phrase? Which is the main word? What are we talking about? We are talking about accurate, right? So, accurate is the head word here. Head word is accurate. So, can you tell me what is the form of the word accurate? Yes, it is adjective. The form of the word accurate is adjective. As this is the head word, so we can say that this is adjective phrase. This is adjective phrase. Adjective phrase. What is the role of, or what is the function of far here and form label of far? Far is adverb, more is also adverb. Okay, far and more, these are the adverbs. So, far is the modifier. The function of far is modifier. The function of more is modifier to the adjective accurate. Then what about than last time? This is a new phrase that is the part of adjective phrase. Understand it. It is not a separate phrase, but this phrase is the part of adjective phrase and functions as a modifier. So, here we will have to give opening bracket and we will write here. Okay, now if this is the new phrase which is the part of adjective phrase, now how can we name this phrase? What is the form of this phrase? For that we will have to look for than. Can you tell me what is the form of than here? See, than can have two forms. One is conjunction and second is preposition. Okay. So, than functions as conjunction, sorry, the form of than is conjunction, form of than is preposition. Okay. Now, which form can we apply here? Yes, it is preposition here, right. So, we will place preposition here. Last is adverb because it tells us about time, and time, the word time is noun. Okay, that word time is noun. Now we will close this phrase here. Okay, we will close this phrase here. As this is preposition, than is preposition, and it tells about time, the noun word. So noun is the head word here. Noun, time is the head word. Last is modifier. Okay, and this whole phrase functions as modifier to the word accurate, and as the phrase begins with preposition, this is prepositional phrase. This is prepositional phrase, and now we will close the bracket of this main phrase which starts from far. So, this bracket should be closed here. Okay. So, this is the phrase analysis of the phrase far more accurate than last time. Let us do the phrase analysis of this one, which is the main word here, at the doorstep of my house. So, as the phrase starts with preposition,
as the phrase starts with preposition here, so we can say this is a prepositional phrase. This is the prepositional phrase. So write the prepositional phrase PP. It starts with preposition. Okay, what is the head word there? Doorstep is the head word. It's a noun, head word. The is determiner. The is determiner and it functions as modifier. Okay. Of my house is one more phrase that is the part of this prepositional phrase, of more house, and here we will write prepositional phrase, okay, which is functioning as modifier here. Now of is preposition here. What is my? My is a pronoun, right? But it is possessive pronoun, and when there is possessive pronoun we know that is considered as a genitive phrase. So you will here you will have to write GP genitive phrase, okay. And this genitive phrase is the modifier of the head word noun head modifier, okay. Now how many opening brackets are there? 1, 2 and 3. So how many closing brackets should be there? Only how many closing brackets will be there? 1, 2 and the third closing bracket that we have to give is here, okay. We will give it in green color. Yes, here it is over now. The analysis of this phrase is over now. Let us go for the analysis of the next phrase. Let us start analysis of this phrase. The boy who decided the fate of the nation. So what are we talking about in this phrase? We are talking about boy. So here we will put here head as a function and boy is noun. So on the basis of that we can say this is a noun phrase. This is a noun phrase, okay, and the is determiner and its function is modifier, okay. Who, here you will see who decided the fate of the nation. So here who is a relative pronoun and it starts the relative clause. In this it starts the relative clause. So you will have to write here RCL, relative clause, okay, RCL, relative clause, and here relative clause functions as modifier to the head word boy, okay. Here who is a relative pronoun as I told you earlier, and that is why it is a noun phrase. This separately functions as a noun phrase, okay. And who is a pronoun and functions as the head of this noun phrase, okay, functions as the head of this noun phrase. Now decided is the verb phrase. Decided is the verb phrase, okay, and it is functioning as predicator. Who functions as subject, okay, as this is the clause. The structure of clause may be subject, predicate. A predicator will be compulsory in the clause, so predicator is there and the subject for the predicator is who, okay. As this is the verb phrase, here we can say decided is the past tense form. So we will write here VED, okay, VED, and this is the main verb, okay, main verb. Then the fate of the nation, the fate of the nation, it functions as an object, object in this phrase, subject, predicator and object. And now the fate of the nation is a noun phrase, is a noun phrase. So the is determiner. Why it is noun phrase? Because here fate, the word fate is the head word here. We are talking about fate here. So it's a noun, head. The is determiner. One more phrase is there, of the nation. It is prepositional phrase. So we will put here PP, prepositional phrase. It functions as modifier to the head word fate. Of is preposition, the is determiner, and nation is noun. Nation is the head word here, the is the modifier, right? Now all the form and function labels are given. Now we will have to carefully put the brackets, and the brackets are like this. How many opening brackets are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opening brackets. So how many closing brackets already we have given? 1, 2 and 3. So it means we will have to add 2 more, 3, 4 and 1. That relative clause, there we have started relative clause. Actually we should give the square bracket to relative clause. So we will erase this one and we will have to give here square bracket. For clause we give square bracket, not round bracket. So clause ends here, finally clause ends here, because in that clause we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 opening brackets. So here we will have, we have already given 1, 2 and 3, 4 brackets. So it's okay. Now the final one for this we will give here for phrase, the final bracket, okay. So this is how is the phrase analysis of this particular sentence. Now the last one, sweeter than it should have been, sweeter than it should have been. Let's do it quickly. Sweeter is, the head word of this phrase is sweeter. So sweeter is adjective, right? We are talking about sweeter. So sweeter is adjective, it's a head word. So this is adjective phrase. This is adjective phrase. So we will put here AJP, adjective phrase. Then it should have been, one more clause is here. Which clause is that? This clause is comparative clause, okay. So we will have to put here CCL, comparative clause. Now than is here, that the form of than is conjunction. Here the form of than is conjunction, okay. It functions as, see, it functions as the subject of this phrase, subject of this phrase, it functions as subject of this phrase and should have been functions as predicator, predicator, okay, should have been function as predicator. It is the subject, it's a noun phrase, it is pronoun, okay, and it's a head word of this noun phrase. Should have been, this is the verb phrase, okay. What is the form of should here? Should is the modal, okay. So write mod on the top and at the bottom write m. Have is have shows the perfect form. So PERF perfect, and here at the bottom you have to write HV have. Been here is the main verb, so mention MV, okay, and here you will have to write capital V, okay. Now close the phrase, close the clause here, and then close the phrase, okay. So this is the analysis of this phrase, sweeter than it should have been. So I hope that you have understood this session. Here I have given 9 sentences for your exercise. You can solve these sentences. Do one thing, identify the phrases, each phrase, identify the phrases and give form and function labels to all the elements in the phrase, okay. So thank you very much.